toda la noche, no nos queda mucho tiempo más. No quiero perder lo que queda. Seguimos siempre la pasión y confiamos solo en el amor. Yeah. No quiero perder lo que queda. Y más allá, a través de la gran oscuridad, hasta que me convierta en rayos. Y más allá, a través de la gran oscuridad, y más allá. Resuena por la pared, creando una canción. No quiero perder el ritmo. Y más allá, a través de la gran oscuridad, hasta que me convierta en rayos. Y más allá, a través de la gran oscuridad, y más allá. Crucemos el número en solo un trueno de horizontes. Seremos miles. Crecemos en número en solo un trueno de horizontes. Seremos miles. Y más allá, a través de la gran oscuridad, hasta que me convierta en rayos. Y más allá, a través de la gran oscuridad, y más allá.
Get up. We want you to get on your feet. Stand up, stand up. Come on, get loose with the heat. Right now. Leave your body till you black out. So get the fuck up. stand up. Come on, get loose with the heat. Right now, we go party till we black out. So get the fuck up.
Take me. I just follow your trail and I'm losing your mind and I'm losing your head. Let me escape from this unlove, cause I'm a prisoner. I just want to look my way and never back to you. I'm not about that. Let me be myself. I'm not about that. Let me be myself. Let me be myself. Let me be myself.
Don't know what we're doing. Things were about to change itself.
Welcome to Simplay Motorsport, and good evening to everybody here live on the stream and everybody on the circuit as well. I'm Matthew Duffin, your commentator for tonight. Around this Algarve circuit for the Pro Series, an interesting night in the Pro-Am last night, and it's a bit heavier tonight in this rainy conditions here in Portimao. We're in for a tricky night. I'm joined in the commentary box by Kelly Davis. Kelly Davis, good evening.
Good evening, Matt. How are you?
I'm well, are you?
Very well, my friend. Look at these conditions tonight. It is absolutely persistent down out there. Look at it.
It is terrible, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not in Portugal. Well,
No.
I say, of course, virtually we are, you know. But look at this rain. It's going to be tricky out there tonight, folks.
It really is, and this is the weather that was reported on the weather forecast live. So obviously we are in the virtual world, but we're basing off the live weather forecast. Conditions meant to brighten up a little bit, but still some rain around for the rest of tonight's stream. So we'll have to keep our eyes on what happens throughout the course of the two races and of course the two qualifying sessions. 14 guys currently in the session. We are just awaiting Emo Guy and somebody else. Not quite sure who.
Yeah, well,
Can't see
sure
Dan.
we'll
I reckon Dan's not loaded the game up on the wheel because he's not on there at the moment. But we've got a special guest in the on the track tonight. Mazda, you know him from the Pro-Am series. He's not been here for the last couple of weeks, obviously working the later shift at work, waiting to come back on days, but he's got a day off and he's in the car tonight, in an unusual car for him, in the Acura. Not sure why he's chosen that one, but oh well, he's going to try and give that one a go. We have A8 unfortunately had to drop out due to other commitments, so will not be here tonight. We hope to see him back in the future. Hopefully he's able to get with us, but we've got Mazda in just so he can have a drive. He's been wanting to get back out on track, obviously missing the last couple of weeks. I'm not sure when he will be back on that Pro-Am calendar, but what can he do in his Acura? The first man out to get across the line, oh, one of the first men out to get across the line. Hopefully we can get Emo Guy and Unorthodox in. Here's Andy then. Kelly, Portimao, lovely circuit. We've obviously seen it on the F1 calendar last year in the real world. Are you a fan of the track? Because I enjoy it.
Yeah, very much a fan of this track. Great undulation on this one. Some blind apexes. Ups and downs are great. Car gets light. So like it a lot. Tricky turn one. You and I were talking about that just off the stream before we started, about the fun and games with turn one. We'll get into that a bit later on. We saw a Grand Prix here last year, which is unique. I don't think that the track can support a Grand Prix normally. I don't think it's got the finances to put a Grand Prix event on. So, one of the bonuses of these rubbish times that we live in is that last year we did get a very interesting season in Formula One, and we were blessed to see Formula One cars around this track, which was a spectacle. Which brings me neatly to the lap record, as we see Andy drifting all the way. I thought he was going to hold on to that. I thought he was going to drift that all the way around the corner then, but no such luck. Which brings me to the lap record, of course, which is held by one Mr. Lewis Hamilton with a 1:18.7 2020 Mercedes. I don't think we're going to see anything like those pace tonight. One, we're not in Formula One cars, and two, with the way that weather's coming down, it's going to be very difficult to get a quick lap time tonight. That's for certain sure.
Indeed it is. I'm just going to quickly run through the table, as everybody has now just got back into the session, so I'm just going to run you through the table. The only G leads the way on 94 points, 17 clear of this man on screen, Gary 131, who's second place. Big Boy Brazy is back in third, 30 points off the title. D Biggs, couple of good rounds of late for D Biggs. He put him fourth in the championship at the moment, so looking strong. Andy's currently in P5, 49 points. Peaceful Explosion just behind him on 45. AH would have been then in 7th place, but obviously he's had to drop out for tonight. We'll see if he is hopefully back for the remainder of the season, but he's on 44. Little Echen in P8 on 41 points, with Unorthodox P9 on 38 points. Phil then is P10 on 36, with Keegs on 32. Emo Guy on 30 points, with Sooty Apex P13 on 24. Fury P14 on 20 points, and Deeks P15 on 14, Welshie P16 on 13 points. The Constructors' Championship looks like this. Forever Forward Racing lead the way by 21 points over Leach Motorsport, with Shake and Bake back in third, a point ahead of the Iron Brew A boys, which are Big Boy Brazier and Keegs. Class of 97 in their Lamborghini then 79 points. Run Flat Racing in their Lamborghini 60 points, with FU Racing on 58 in the Ferrari, and DW Racing in the Lamborghini on 27. 4 different Lamborghini manufacturers, but yet none of them are in the top 3 at the moment. 2 Porsches and a Mercedes-Benz top the constructors table. And just going back to last week, Kelly, at Daytona, obviously the first night race of the season, we saw Andy take his double score, which also became his drop score, lowest score of the season. So he actually didn't benefit from his double points there at all.
Yes, unfortunately. I guess that's the way it goes, isn't it, Matt?
It is,
yes,
unfortunately.
Indeed. Yes, it is unfortunate. Great race last week. Thoroughly enjoyed that over at Daytona. Say very different conditions here in Portugal this evening. So, you know, who's going to favour which cars are going to be a handful and which aren't tonight. I'm expecting the Merc to be a handful, and I was expecting the Porsche to be a handful as well. But certainly in the hands of Gary and Little Leach, they seem to. Certainly Gary seems to have this Porsche well and truly dialed in, doesn't he?
He really does, and I completely agree with what you're saying about the Mercedes as well. We saw last night with Monkey Boy and Kieran Argent, the Forever Forward team in the Pro-Am. They seemed to struggle in the wet. The minute it started to dry in the changeable conditions last night, that Merc looked the best car on the grid. Currently Big Boy Brazier in the Lamborghini setting the pace with a 1 minute 50.3, 16 thousandths of a second quicker than Gary 131 as Big Boy Brazier leaves the pits once again. We've not yet set a time from Deeks, Andy, Emo Guy on Orthodubs and the Only G, so we'll see what them guys can do. The Mercedes A Peaceful Explosion currently P5, and the Acura of Mazda up in 6th place. Let's keep our eyes on what the Acura can do. Obviously was dropped after round 1 by Welshie and Deeks. They lost all their points for changing car. We'll see what the Acura can do in the hands of Mazda tonight.
Absolutely, and just remind me and everyone at home what the format is this evening, Matt.
So the format is 20-minute qualifying for race 1, where everybody can take part and everybody can qualify, followed by a 17-lap race, which works out around half an hour with the pit stop as well. So about a half an hour first race, and then we'll take a short break while we reset the lobby, make the changes that we need to make and get everybody back in. It will then be a 10-minute qualifying where the top, as it stands with 16 drivers in the lobby, the top 8 can't qualify for round 2, so the top 8 finishers will not be able to qualify for the second race tonight. And then again a 17-lap race. Both races require a mandatory pit stop, which is again lap 6 due to the 17 laps, unless the weather changes dramatically where you need to, or when I say weather changes dramatically, or you have significant damage, which is arming the other drivers while you're struggling on the circuit as well. You're able to pit before the mandatory pit window, but lap 6 is the way to go on that one. I think that's just about everything, Kelly.
I think that's got it covered comprehensively, Matt. Yes, lovely. Thank you very much. Again, from my benefit, being that I've slept since the last time we've done this, this is which round? What number round is this?
Round 7 and 8 tonight. Round 7 and 8 for everybody at home. Round 7 and 8 of the Pro Series. Pro-Am.
Yeah. And how many have we got in total, Matt?
Got 22 in total.
22. So I mean, coming up. Not quite, probably 1/3 of the season, so still loads to play for at the moment, isn't there?
Oh, loads of points to play for. 416 drivers' points and 736 constructors' points left to play for. Still on the table, all up for grabs. All on my little stats page next to me. All the points are worked out.
I am impressed by that. That is amazingly impressive that you had that knowledge right to hand. I mean, you know, I know you've got your notebook, and I can imagine that your notebook is fully loaded with all these facts. Me, I've got my laptop open and I've got Wikipedia and YouTube and the stream that's in front of us that we're watching. So
I've got my PC. I've got my PC next to me on the left running the stream. I've got the PlayStation in front of me, streaming and commentating. I've got the laptop with all the stats on next to me. I've got my little Toy Story Disney notebook. That sounds a bit childish, for all the pit stops and all the other bits throughout the race as we go.
You stole that off one of your children, didn't you?
No, I bought that myself. I'm not going to lie, bought that one myself. As we're on board with Emo Guy, who gets a bit wiggly coming around towards the final couple of corners here. Currently sat in P14 at the moment, 13 seconds off the pace. That to me says that he's got more time in that one and he's not put a proper lap in. Save for the same for Deeks and the Only G, as the Only G currently 33 seconds off the pace. Obviously, we know the Only G world record holder. Fantastic driver. I doubt he'll be 33 seconds off the pole lap come the end of this one. As Emo Guy's going to cross the line. Kelly, do you want to take us on a lap?
I will. Turn one, really tricky this one. You want to brake somewhere around here in the dry. Don't let it run wide, and it'll want to. We'll talk about turn one later. That second corner is flat pretty much. Heavy braking zone this one. Right-hander, pick the apex up. Try to keep over to the right-hand side because this corner is normally flat, but probably not in these conditions. But the back end will go light as you want all the traction you can get going down this straight. Great overtaking opportunity because we've got a hairpin corner at the end here. Brake as late as you dare. Try and pick up the apex. Never mind, Ian. Let it roll out to the right-hand side. Two unsighted sections come up here. Unsighted on this left-hander, but it's flat anyway. This is a tricky one. Braking and turning, off the brakes, on the brakes again, turning, pick up the apex. Car's going to go light back end as you come up over the hill and drop down into this kind of pit. And you can't see any of the other track here when you're in the middle of this. That's pretty much flat through there, but again, unsighted as you come up the other side. Double apex again, brake, and then come off the brakes, on the brakes, if you see what I mean. Pick the apex up again, light on the back end, drop down into the dip. This one's a bit easier. Come over to the right hand side, brake late, tuck it back into the apex as you come round to the left. Short squirt, one gear change, back down the gears. A bit of a hurry up and wait corner this one. You want to get going, you want to get going, you want to get on the power, but it won't let you. Now nail it all the way down the straight. This is the last corner now, downhill. Flat out almost. You have to have a little bit of a lift just to keep it to the apex and then let it run out wide to the left and across the start finish line for Emo Guy to record a start finish line. There, it goes up into fifth with a 151.3.
Fantastic lap there from Emo Guy. Cheers, Kelly, for taking us through that one. A few guys in the 151s, quite close quarters there. Peaceful Explosion, Emo Guy, Little HD Biggs. The two out front seem to be running away at the moment. Big Boy Brazy's improved his time just a little bit, nearly in the 49s, but him and Gary 3/10, they're separated by just under, shall I say, and then D Biggs a further 1.2 seconds back from Big Boy Brazier. So it's the apex, currently down in P16, 9 seconds off the pace. Wonder what he's going to be in for. 3 people in the pit, Peaceful Mazda G and Welshie. I said G won't be 33 seconds off the time at the end of qualifying. He's only 2.8 with 7 minutes left on the clock. So then, Pro Champion praying for a bit of weather. He's got the bit of weather now. He's done his rain dance. What can he do in it? He loves the Porsche in greasy conditions, does Gary. What can he do with it tonight? It's a bit more than greasy. It's a bit favourable for ducks, is this weather. What can he do in that Porsche?
Yes, indeed. If it's going to rain much more, I'm going to get my snorkel out. It's properly hammering down at there as we see. Gary has it. He does have it dialed, doesn't he? He just seems to be. The back end seems to be stepping out, but he seems to have it all under control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. And very Schumacher-esque, because Schumacher was always good at kind of stepping the back end, but making it go forward.
Do you know
most of us.
It's funny you say that, because last season at Nürburgring, me and Andy compared the 2 drives Gary had in the wet, very Schumacher-y. We said it was a very Schumacher-esque drive at Nürburgring. So it's funny you actually compare, Gary Tax. Me and Andy did the same comparison last year.
Well, there you go. There we go. We must, maybe we all do know something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I say Schumacher was always very good at, when the back end stepped out, about to keep it moving forward. Because it's all well and good having the back end out and it looks great, but to do it and keep the momentum forward is the tricky part. And Schumacher was always very, very good at that, and Gary seems to have it under control. I mean, the times are showing that. I mean, him and Jamie are the only 2 in the 150s at the moment. I'm expecting some other people to jump up in there, but at this time they're the only 2 in there. So he must know what he's doing with that Porsche.
He must know what he's doing with that Porsche. He's obviously got it dialed in. Emo Guy's gone up into 3rd place. So he's got that Lamborghini starting to sing and dance for him as well. Not yet in the 1 minute 50. Still a couple of tenths outside that mark. D Biggs will be looking to get back his P3 as he comes. This tricky part of the section, you come downhill, flat left-hander, back uphill, and it's find your braking point for the double apex, like you said on board Emo Guy. It's a very, very tricky corner.
It has got some challenging corners, this track, especially even more so in the wet, I should say. That turn 1, as I say, we had a conversation before we started about turn 1, and the Formula 1 guys had exactly the same problem. It's so incredibly easy to run wide. And I remember at the Grand Prix here that they changed the track limits halfway through the weekend, so they did practice, and none of them could keep it inside the white line, so they changed the track limits to the curbing, as it were. It's going to be tricky into turn 1. It always feels like a really great overtaking opportunity, and that you can brake late and you can really send it into that corner, but that isn't quite the case. Although, saying all that, I haven't seen anybody run wide on it yet, as D Biggs turns that 4th round.
Yeah, he does, and he's just going to squirt off onto the grass to move out the way and gets it into the pits. Yeah, you're right. And turn 1, it seems to be on them corners that you feel like you can take a lot faster, but in order to keep the track limits, you've just got to be that bit heavier on the brakes and just a bit slower through the corner, aren't you, to not run yourself wide. And yeah,
definitely. It's one of those that go slower to go faster corners, brake earlier.
And if I'm right, wasn't the F1 that you was on about then, when they came here, wasn't they like the most tracks limits they'd seen in practice 1 and 2 ever? And that's why they changed it, something like that. It was like ridiculously high number of track limits and lap times deleted and stuff.
I believe you're right, and I'd love to pull a perfect statistic out of the bag here, but I believe it was in the 200s.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Over one session there was like 200 or 240 or something like that springs to mind of track limit violations. So yes, I believe that's. I think Carlos Sainz was one of the worst ones for it. As I remember, but as I said, they did move the goalposts in Formula 1. I mean, as I say, these guys seem to be taking turn 1 really well at the moment. I haven't seen anybody go out really wide.
No, and they've done it really well in the. Oh, we say that.
To be fair, I think G was already out of control before he got to the apex. He missed the apex.
Yeah.
So it wasn't happening for G before he even got there. So
it wasn't. And while he was saying that about G, he went a couple of tenths quicker, moved himself up into P8. Kieran Argent, just for you, Kelly, the double apex corner is called the Craig Jones corner in memory of the bike racer.
Right, you are.
Kaylee in the chat says, come on, Jamie. So good evening to everybody. Evening to Dan Davis, Fury's granddad, G in the chat, Pure Motorsport, nice to you guys here. Joe in the chat, Gary131, NJ as well, Kelly in the chat, obviously, as well, in the commentary box. I mean, guys, 21 people watching the stream, 11 likes. Let's hit that thumbs up button and get as many likes on the stream as we can, as Keegs has just lost away in the car. Little Leach here. Is it going to get out for another lap then? 1 minute 50 on the clock. Keegs should get round to get one more lap in. Obviously, he's got to make sure he can do it in. He's obviously well over the start line, but Little Each then, the first man who's not going to get one more run in. G easily should have. Andy will easily get one more in as well.
Yep, still only 2 people in the 1 minute 50s, which is big boy Jamie Brazier and Gary. So we're hoping to see maybe someone else pop up in there, but we'll see how we go. As Andy comes across the line, he'll get another lap in.
Yeah, down in P12 is Andy, currently sat 3rd in the championship at the moment. Sorry, 4th in the champion. 5th in the championship. He's in one of them spaces. But down in P12 at the moment in qualifying, not what he wanted to do here, what he wanted to see. We saw Emo Guy was 3rd a moment ago. He's obviously lost out to D-Biggs and Little Each looking at the timing screen. So Andy gets one more bite of the cherry, if you will. And look at that Lamborghini, just very wiggly. Turn 4 can be difficult in the wet, Kelly. It's uphill, flat out kind of corner that even in the dry at times can be tricky. But in these wet, greasy conditions is really horrible.
An extremely important corner as well, because if you're fighting the back end and you're off the throttle, you're losing time, because you need traction from turn 3 up to turn 4. You need to do turn 4 as fast as humanly possible to keep the traction, to keep the momentum going forward down that straight. Otherwise, you're going to get mugged.
And that's the thing, is the momentum out of 3 going through 4, like you say, you get 4 horribly wrong and lose a bit of pace coming onto that straight, your lap time's gone.
You're paying for it.
Yeah, your lap time's gone. As Sutty Apex up to P11 dives into the pit, so he's done for qualifying. 5 seconds left, so those who are finishing their laps when the timer goes now, those finishing their laps now will be their final runs. If anybody's just got across the line, they'll get 1 more run in. And I must say from Andy here, it's been a bit wiggly, hasn't it, on the rear of that Lamborghini? It just looks a bit all over the place. Doesn't look
looks
as...
like a handful. Yeah.
And he's controlling it really well, Andy. He's got great car control and he's doing a brilliant job. But what we said about Gary earlier, the Porsche seems to slide a little bit and carry that momentum. The Lamborghini looks like it's very, very twitchy. Yes,
it seems to be, and as Andy runs very wide there, it seems to jolt and need catching, where the Porsche seems to just flow with the slide. If you're skillful enough to handle it, So that's Andy up to P9. Big boy Brazier's done. He's hoping that no one's going to go quicker than he is.
He is. Gary's just coming down the start line though. So does Gary take? I think he crossed
G's going slowly, so it looks like G's done. He isn't going to improve. We know Andy's not going to improve. Phil's just gone over the line. Daniel's in the Ferrari, and it looks like he's done as well. Who have we spoke about? Where's Gary?
Gary's stayed P2.
Yeah, Gary's moving slowly.
Fury
who we left
Deeks.
with? Mazda's done. Deeks.
16th. George, just about to cross the line, look.
Yeah. Is he going to improve off the back row?
He's improved, but not enough to get off the back row.
Not enough, yeah.
No, so who are we waiting on? Fury, I do believe, still out there. Yeah, we're just waiting. Oh, he's gone back
Fury's
into the
done,
pits.
That's it.
Oh, there we go then. So that's qualifying over for the first race of the first race of tonight. And Big Boy Brazier takes it by just short of 0.3 of a second then from Gary 131. And there's not a lot in that, but them two. Emo guy in the end got up into P3, only 0.8 off the back of him. So another one in the 50s, but no one else really quite close to that. Emo guy 0.8 off the back of them though, so still a lot of work for him to do. Little Each P4 with Peaceful Explosion in 50, big 6th place, not bad for him. Keegs up in 7th, good qualifying for Keegs. The only G in 8th, Phil 9th, Andy 10th, Mazda down in P11. Let's see what he can do in that Acura. Unorthodox P12 with Sutty 13th, Fury in 14th, and then the DW Racing Boys of Welshie and Deeks down in 15th and 16th place. So we'll have to see what these guys can do.
Yeah, I'll tell you who I'm impressed with. Who's just put on the chat is Michael Matthews, who I presume is Peaceful Explosion. Yeah, he said happy with 5th, and fair play. I would be happy with 5th because in that Merc, a G couldn't make it happen. But Peaceful Explosion in front of his teammate. That's with all the Jewish of respect to Peaceful. That's like being Alex Albon with Verstappen. Do you know what I mean? That's a good position in 5th. Absolutely.
Really happy with that one. He'll take that one as well. Let's see what he can do for the rest of the evening. So, pole position number. Let me just load the next page up. Where's Jamie? Pole position number 1 of the season for Jamie Brazier then. That could have been Gary's 3rd. It could have been Andy's 3rd. G 2nd. But no, Jamie Brazier. Pole position number 1 for him.
Ideal.
So very ideal. Interesting to see what he's going to do going forward in this one then. Who's your money on for this race, Kelly?
Gary.
Yeah.
Gary. He's the only man I've seen out there that looks planted. I'm going to back Peaceful as well. I thought that was good. We had he had good pace last week, but kept getting into
put it
dramas.
Together, could he? Yeah, couldn't put it together.
No. Let's see how he gets on. This is going to be a game of patience. This is with this weather for sure.
Yeah, it really is. It's going to be a cat and mouse game. Who blinks when? Who pits when? And what do these guys do in these cars? Obviously, can't pit until lap 6.
Yeah. Plenty of comments coming through in the chat. Please put those comments up. We love to hear from you. We love to have the feedback. Keep it coming. 21 people watching. 13 of you have liked. Here we go. Look, we're syncing up now by the looks of it. So I'll stop yapping and we'll get this race started.
Yeah, the lights come on now. You see the red lights there. It's green. We're away here in Algarve in Portimao for the Algarve race. And look at a few people. And the FU Racing boys tap each other at the start. And they've lost it in the rain. Gary got a bit bogged down. Emo Guy got up into second place off the line. So a good start for Emo Guy. Gary down into P3. D Biggs has got past Peaceful as well. But the FU Ferraris. Yeah. Emo Guy looks like he's round. Has he had a bit of a tap there or something? I'm not quite sure. But around he goes. Phil is also off in the background. Very, very tricky wet conditions here in Portimao for this one. Peaceful is ahead of Keegs, and he's got the only G trying to go with him up into P4 now. Gary back ahead of Emo Guy. Can he hunt down Big Boy Brazier? Let's see what he can do. G stayed behind Keegs there. Mazda got a decent start up into P7, but the two Ferrari guys, Kelly, off the line into the side of each other.
Oh dear, it's just Red Bull all over again, isn't it? You know, or Ferraris, I don't know which. F1 Ferraris. Got into each other. Know what happened now? They all got squirrely off the start, but not a good start for FU Racing. Puts Daniel dead last.
Who's that? I think Gary's had a problem. There's Gary slow over the brow of the hill. Sorry to cut you off, Kelly, but he's down to P12. He's had a shocker. I don't know what's happened, but Gary's lost a lot of places here, and Gary down into P12. They're not sure what happened. I just saw him sort of rejoining as Little Leach and Emo Guy went past, but then Peaceful Explosion's lost out to his teammate and is going to lose out to Keegs. And can he keep the rear of that car? No, he can't. Mazda's going to get through. So does Welshie, Little Leach, Emo Guy. They're all through. He can't even get back on. He's struggling here. Gary's down to P13, so I don't know what is wrong with Gary. Peaceful still struggling to just get back on the circuit at the moment.
Yes, indeed. I'm going to apologise to Gary and Peaceful. I had them both backed, and they both had an horrendous first lap. Absolutely horrendous for him. But Jamie Brazier, look at this. 3 seconds ahead at the end of lap 1. He certainly stayed out of trouble. Get your head down, Jamie. You need to get on with it. D Biggs in second place, and the only G. Look at that. From what was he, 7th, 8th, 9th on the grid?
Something like that. Yeah, something like that.
Absolutely. Into third place in that Mercedes, and I bet that is a handful. I really do. Where we got Keegs is in 4th, and Mazda doing very well in 5th place at the moment, but early days yet. It can all go terribly wrong really quickly, as we've seen.
Mazda here, look at this. He's got a terrible run out there turn 4, and he's got Welsh on his outside and Emo Guy up the inside of both of them. Thank you very much. Little Leach is going to try and follow Emo Guy through. Mazda tries to block him off, and Mazda is sitting duck. Emo Guy round, must have clipped the puddle. The Mazda gains only loses 2 places, not 3. Emo Guy rejoins and with Such Apex on the outside of him, but Mazda there, bit of a sitting duck down that straight in the Acura.
He was, and what a move from Little Leach. That was absolutely beautiful. Right down the inside, stayed out of trouble, went round the apex. Just beautiful move from Little Leach. As Ian goes round.
Emo Guy again. And he's not having the best of starts here. Just keeps losing that car. Obviously not quite set up. Fury's rejoined there. Gary's worked his way back up into the top 10. P9 for Gary at the moment. Sooty Apex currently P8. He's now chasing down Mazda. Forever a great race. He'll fight till the end, but he just doesn't seem well in that car. Obviously a McLaren in the Pro-Am. I wonder if he'll choose to jump back in the McLaren in his normal livery for the second race. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously scoring no points tonight is Mazda, just filling in as a reserve, so no points for him, just filling in for the A8 that he's missing. G then gaining on the back of D Biggs. Jamie Brazier 3.5 seconds up the road, and the only G looks like he's had a good couple of laps here where he's kept out of trouble.
Look at the water, look at it. Looks like a river in front here, doesn't it? As we're on board with the only G as he gets very close to the back of the Porsche, and it takes a little bit more than he should just there, but as I said, that turn 1 is extremely tricky to stay out of trouble. I've got to keep jumping around here because I don't want to lose, trying not to miss any of the action here this evening, because I think it's just going to keep coming thick and fast. Gary on a recovery drive, he's in 9th at the moment, giving Sooty a bit of a nudge, bit of a hurry up, come on, I'm coming.
A bit of a tap up the rear, and look at Gary, he's got the run through turn 4, and he looks like he's got the momentum. So, look at that, did Sooty slow down a little bit there? I'm not... Oh, Mazda's
Mazda's
made a move on Welshie as well, side by side into the hairpin. So Mazda's got that one done. Clearly got the better run out to turn 4 this time round. He gets that moved in on Welshie, and Welshie can do nothing about it. Obviously, Welshie back on the pad with wheel problems at the moment. Back racing on the pad and doing a top job at that. Let's just hope he doesn't drop it. Maybe he dropped it there. And that's why Mazda got back through. Gary is on a mission in these conditions.
Yes, he is. And I think just going back to Gary overtaking Suddy, I don't know if Suddy got a bit on that turn 4 that we were talking about. I don't know if he got a little bit back-endy and Gary was able to capitalise on that. Because Gary seems to be the man keeping it all in check. Welshie had a bit of a moment as Gary closed up on him in a couple of corners ago. Gary seems to be the man that has a handle on these conditions. As you see Welshie going wide round there, you can do that line out on that corner, especially in these conditions. You can do the karting lines in the wet. However much they're going to benefit you tonight, I don't know. But yes, still game on here. Look, and Gary just... Oh, I don't know if he... Did he lose it? He was...
He has, yeah. Where's Gary gone? He's facing the wrong way, and he's got to wait for Unorthodox to come past him. Peaceful Explosion's going to get past him as well. And so looks like it Phil and Emo Guy. Oh, Emo Guy there. I thought the line he was taking was going to into the back of Gary. There's
so
Fury very wide. Deeks down in last place at the moment, but Gary, just as he starts to build that momentum, loses it all, spinning on the final corner, and he's back down to P13. Who's that? That's Keegs. Was running P4. He's gone off.
Yeah.
We didn't see the end of that one, and I tell you what, Sutty's got... Is Welshie going to get through? No, Mazda's got through. Welshie hasn't, though. And Sutty Apex, look at the 3 Lamborghinis now, with Keegs leading the 3 of them. Mazda just in front in the Acura. I say just in front, actually put a bit of a gap to Welshie over the last lap. Keegs very deep and very wide. Welshie's going to try and have a look up the inside. There's a puddle forms, actually, on the apex of that hairpin corner. So I don't think Welshie there, although he looked up the inside, couldn't get the power down to get away. Keep our eyes on Gary. He's already passed Emo Guy. We'll have to keep our eyes on him. This, though, 3 Lamborghinis in a row with an Acura just up front as well. So what can these guys do?
Yes, indeed, and it seems to be that everyone's struggling really, apart from possibly the top 3 are the 3 that are kind of stagnant at the moment. Jamie Brazier still out in front with a 4-second lead at the moment from D Biggs, and the only G is just keeping him honest, but not really attacking. I don't know if he can, or he's just trying to keep it all together and keep it all in a straight line. But he's just keeping D Biggs honest within a second or so. And these guys are pretty much stagnant at the front for a minute, and everyone else is having a bit of a shocker.
They are, aren't
really.
they? I was just saying about keep an eye on Gary. He's got past Phil as well, and he's not far off the back of Peaceful Explosion. There he is, just behind Peaceful Explosion and Unorthodox. And I know Unorthodox cannot wait to get out of this Ferrari. He's not enjoying it much at all.
No.
Obviously got a good result last week at Daytona, surprisingly, to be fair, because we said how poor that Ferrari looked. It could go a bit better around Algarve, and obviously the weather throwing up any conditions, and Peaceful went stage right there, coming out the last corner. Where is he? He went very, very wide.
I don't know where he is.
I think we may have to change the camera angle here to see where he's rejoined, because the camera... he's picked him up now. He's lost out to Phil and Fury, and to Gary past Peaceful Explosion relatively easy.
Yes, indeed, and this is. I say, don't go anywhere. Don't go make a cup of tea. Don't look away, because it's going to all change up and down the field all the way through this race. I feel Sooty Apex goes down the inside of Welshie. Look at him having to slow right down on this corner just to keep it all together, as these boys are so incredibly close, but almost at a crawling pace.
Yeah, it is kind of like a snail's pace, and if these guys don't hurry up about it, Unorthodox, who doesn't look too bad so far in the Ferrari, he's lapping similar to the guys just in front of him, so that's always a bonus. Deeks must have damage, pitting a lap earlier than the pit window, so he must have damage to the back of his Lamborghini. Not really seen much of Deeks tonight, not seeing the best of what he's got to offer. I assume he'll be wanting the conditions to get a bit better later on. Who's that? That's Welshie. Welshie's had a bit of a moment, and Unorthodox and Gary pick up the pieces there. Gary up back into the top 10, but remember, Gary's lost out twice here on his own as well, so let's see what happens in this race. Gary not having the best of starts this one, but now we'll hunt down Sooty Apex for a second time in this race.
Yeah, and just going back to Dan's good in the wet conditions. And, you know, he was last at the beginning of this. He's now up into 8th place. And just quietly going about his business.
Oh, we've had a retirement.
Keep dropping it. Sorry?
Andy's retired.
Andy's retired?
Yeah, just noticed that Andy is retired from the race.
All right, we don't know why.
No. So that's a shame for Andy, because he was doing well in the championship. Hopefully he'll be back in for race 2 to get that done. Deeks still in the pit, so that must have been bad damage to his Lamborghini. Yeah, very bad damage.
Yes. Deeks. Yeah. As you can see, the mechanics.
Is he retired? He's retired the car. They've retired the car. So Deeks will score no points as well. Yeah, they've done their job and pushed it in without even touching it.
Yeah, the mechanics have put new headlights in because that's all they can really do. Other than that, they're rubbish. So they put new headlights in it and it didn't fix it. So he's retired. So we lost two from this race already this evening.
Yeah, down to 14 runners. Obviously, one's not scoring points in Mazda. He's being hunted down by his teammate of last year, Keegs, aka Keegan Welsh. Teammates last year in the BMW until Mazda obviously got put on the late shift at work. What can Mazda do in that Accord? He's not doing too bad at the minute, lapping similar to the cars around him, and I tell you, he's doing a fantastic job. We've not seen something, but D Biggs is now third and G's 3 seconds up the road from him, but Jamie Brazier is doing a fantastic job out front at the moment.
Yes.
On board with
indeed.
Gary 131 all over the back of Unorthodox here. Look at the puddle on the inside of that corner there. Oh, you don't want to touch that.
No, indeed. Both these guys are pretty handy with these cars. As I said, Daniel's quite good in the wet, and we've apart from the couple of unfortunate mistakes that Gary's been having, other than that, he's running really well and really seems to have that car under control. Just the odd couple of times that it's caught him out. He's taken a lot of curb there. I wouldn't be on that curb like that myself, but then, hey, I wouldn't be going at the same pace as Gary's going, I suppose. Look, as he's reeling him in now, he's in the slip. Daniel goes to defend, he moves once, comes across to his line, but Gary's already there. Looks like he's got the job done to me.
Oh, look at that. Indeed. Easy as you like. Gary through then and past Unorthodox, and Unorthodox couldn't do nothing about it. He made the defensive move and Gary's just driven past him like he's going backwards. Gary has the typhoon weather tyres on that looks like they're clearing all that standing water and giving him all the grip in the world. Dan must be running on slicks because Gary just drove past him like that Ferrari was standing still. Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, he was in the slip, and the Ferrari is not the best car. It's a great all-rounder, but it doesn't excel at anything really. Do you know what I mean? So, as we said earlier, Daniel kind of regretting picking that Ferrari now, but there's a long season to go, and he's got to live with it. So he's looking forward to some more technical track stuff with the kind of high downforce kind of tracks later in the season, when the Ferrari may come into its own a little bit, because it has got a much more planted chassis compared to say the Mercedes, and the Porsche to an extent. So I think Daniel's hoping for later in the season as the some tracks with a bit better downforce. I think is what he's hoping for.
Yeah, completely agree with you there, because the Ferrari may excel there. Just looking at this one, Mazda's been passed by Keegs and Sutty, so I'm not sure if there was an incident or if Mazda lost it or what happened, but he's a fair way back from them too as well. And Sutty putting the pressure on Keegs. Now, Sutty Apex last year, obviously runner-up in the Pro category, raced on the pad. He's actually made that transition to the wheel. He's had the wheel for a while, but it's always sat in the closet and it never came out. But this year he's sticking to his guns and he's sticking to his principles and getting up to pace, so he doesn't use the pad anymore. He wants to get on the wheel, wants to use it, doesn't want it to just gather dust or be an ornament, and he's going to try for his famous Sutty Send It manoeuvre, and that one didn't work, and he's late on the brakes. He's very wide on the exit. I thought Keegs had left the door open and we was going to see an actual genuine Sutty Send It. Mazda then is going to be getting caught up by Gary here with the looks of things. Kelly?
Yes, absolutely. I was just going to say, I don't really rate turn one as an overtaking opportunity at all, to be honest. It's just all too fast and too tight between the between the curbs, really.
If you're going to pass at turn one, it's going to be something like Gary did to Dan just a moment ago. Got to get it done before the braking zone.
Absolutely. Just going back to the wheel and pad thing you were saying about what you said, Sooty, yeah. I know exactly what he, what you're saying. I mean, when I transferred from pad to wheel, which was a couple of years ago, to be fair, I don't know about you, Matt, but I had to learn to drive all over again. It was just like such a nice feeling to be on a steering wheel and pedals.
Yeah.
But you just have to start all over again, and change the way that
it's two different worlds, isn't it?
It is. The way you turn, the way you brake, the way you accelerate is all completely different.
Yeah.
And as I say, you have to learn to drive again. And I suppose if you're competitive and you're doing stuff like this all the time, then to take that kind of hit is Gary. Take that kind of hit is difficult, isn't it?
It is, and we saw last night with Dean Wysocki in the Pro-Am category. Just got a wheel at the weekend. It got delivered. Tested on it non-stop throughout when he was online. Got all the testing in, especially around here in the wet as well. So he was really kind of putting himself in the deep end. Not only testing the wheel, which is a different wheel, testing it in the wet. I suppose obviously learning the conditions for Wednesday. Got to Wednesday night and he says, "I'm not comfortable on it. Going to use the pad."
Yeah. Don't blame him.
And best thing to do. Get the wheel back out Thursday night. Let's go again. Let's see how we can do for next week. If again you don't feel comfortable, back on the pad. Dean did the right thing there, and it could do a quick 1 lap time, but it's the consistency I think that was his problem, and that's why he got the pad back out. Sooty can race the wheel and can race it consistently. I've done it with him plenty of times. He's just quicker on the pad. His lap times over these last couple of months have slowly got closer together, pad to wheel. And I think he feels that he can be more consistent on the wheel, just not as quick as he could be on the pad. As Gary hunts down Mazda here, then obviously Mazda's not scoring points, so Gary would score the points of 7th place at the moment with Mazda not scoring them. Mazda obviously just in to get a feeling for the racing again. Obviously he's not. I don't think he's raced. I don't believe for 3 weeks now. So obviously lost that bit of a feeling. Won the first 2 races at Nürburgring in the Pro-Am category. He's not raced since. Hoping to have him back for Circuit of Americas, the night race next week, as we go back across the pond, stateside for that one in Texas, I do believe, for the Circuit of Americas. Right. So, what can Gary do, though? Biggs, stellar job. Big Boy Brazier, stellar job by him. 9 seconds the gap to G and him.
Yes, he is. And he's. We should really spend a moment or two having a look at the leader. Jamie Brazier, he's had a couple of shockers, last couple of rounds. We knew he was looking forward to Snetterton. No, hang on, I get my
he was looking forward to Snetterton.
Yeah, he was looking forward to Snetterton, wasn't he? Yes, because his home track, quite literally, and had a shocker of an evening that night with one problem and another. But he seems to be going quite nicely now. So keep it all together, Jamie. We'll come back to you later on.
Indeed, we will.
Jamie
Brazier, 2 seconds, a third, a 7th, and 2 non-finishes at Snetterton. Sooty Apex here, really starting to hassle the back of Keegs. Sooty Send It is a move later on the brakes for those of you guys who haven't seen it, and not a lot of us have here at Simplay Motorsport. He's not used it for quite a while, live on stream anyway. Best place for him to send one on Keegs would be this corner here, but he kind of can't because of that puddle on the apex of the corner, as Welshie and Emo Guy come into the pits.
He's got his chance. Look, Keegs had gone wide, but now he holds it all together. Keegs had went in very deep, and Sooty couldn't really capitalise on that, which was a shame. But as you can see, he's all over the back of him at the moment. Keegs, very, very wide, very deep, and that should allow Sooty Apex up the inside. And on the exit to the corner, going to be side by side down the hill, flat out through the left-hander. Again, watch for the puddle on the inside. And I think Keegs wisely kind of got out of that one there so that he didn't hit that puddle, because that could have spun him into the side of Sooty, and Sooty under the brakes loses the rear. He's managed to catch it well, but look who's gaining on the pair of them in the background. Mazda's lost out to an Orthodubs as well, so I don't know if Mazda's had a spin. He's dropped well off the back of Gary and on Orthodubs, not quite sure what happened there. Down to P9 now, Mazda, but Sooty lost rear, did very well to hold that, but look who's behind him once again. Gary's on the way back. Look in your mirrors, and there's Gary. And let's see how he gets. Let's see how we get on down this main straight as they come back onto the main straight. See what kind of power the Here we go, and let's go on with Gary. Yeah, here we go. I want to see if he reels in this Lamborghini. Look, he's in his slip again. I don't think he's catching it like he did the Ferrari of Unorthodox, but look, yeah, he is.
Sooty got out of that one. You heard Sooty lift out of that there. Gary!
Gary's gone round. Oh no!
Once again, Gary's got past Sooty and he's lost the car once again. Sooty back into P6. Unorthodox back into 7th, and Sooty's now lost the rear. Turn 3 down, up into P6. He must think it's Christmas all over again for Unorthodox, because he's up into P6. 2 gifts for him there. And Gary, once again, just as he starts to get our momentum and gain a few places, has got all the work to do once more.
Yeah, absolutely. Daniel had 2 cracking corners because he just saw cars go round, in circles, quite literally. So we'll probably see Sooty start to reel Dan back in again, but Daniel doing a solid job, just keeping it pointing in the right direction, you know, and that's consistency and all that kind of stuff just pays off.
Yeah, let the others around you make the mistakes. You keep it pointing forward. That's all you need to do. And at the minute, that's everything he's doing. His teammate Furious just came into the pits at the end of lap 10. So he's pitted now. It looks like Peaceful Explosion will manage to get past him as Dan, just as we say, pointed in the right direction. He's very wide all over the curb. And Sooty will have that move back as Gary in the background will want to get on the back of them once more. There you see Gary. He's got to cut them mistakes out because he's really got to get on the pace here.
Apart from well, probably Jamie. Jamie is driving probably the best race of anybody at the moment, and you know, out in front, 10 seconds out in front of G. You know, that doesn't happen very often, does it? No. You know, so Jamie having a cracking go, but Gary's the man with the same sort of pace. Yeah. He's just got to keep it, you know, that
Gary's
knife edge between Gary in the pits. Did you say?
Yeah.
Knife edge between braking traction and, you know, and it going round. Yeah. So, you know, of course we are mandatory pit stop this evening, so doesn't look like he's going in for, you know, doesn't look like there's any damage on the Porsche. Just doing his pit stop. As you can see, the Project Cars 2 mechanics doing absolutely nothing as usual. Bless them, they got the best job in the world. You know, just stand there looking at the cars. You know, that's lovely.
Get to watch a race and get paid for it. You know, good racing as well, and you know, not have to lift a finger. Bar the lollipop, absolutely, man. That is the hardest working man. They're lifting that lollipop.
Probably is.
And in the real world, they've replaced him with traffic lights now. That's how UCC was.
Yeah.
So
even
you know,
his job's been automated.
Yeah. Although it wasn't like I watching the Daytona 24-hour last weekend, and there was an incident there in the pits. One of the BMW GT cars. The lollipop man. I say lollipop man. The man who was telling him to stop had his hand out, kept his hand out. BMW crept forward and burst the fuel pipe on the when they were topping the car up, and a few mechanics got sprayed in the eyes, and one of the drivers got sprayed in the eyes with fuel through the visors and stuff. So that couldn't have been very pleasant. But yeah, they didn't even use a lollipop man then. Just in the dark, a man in black overall stood there with his hand out. I thought, yeah, brilliant, well done. As D Biggs comes into the pits from P3 then at the end of lap 12 for him, so he's deciding to pit as well then, obviously on his own tonight, not needing to pit strategy with his teammate. Obviously AH's not able to be with us, and that was a very
quick.
That was a very quick. Yeah.
How do I get that set in? That's how do I get that? Where do I get his mechanics from? What button do I press to get them? Because he hardly stopped. That was like Red Bull mechanics. That
was something else. Unorthodox comes into the pits as well. Let's see if the Ferrari pit crew can have a pit stop like they've just had. But D Biggs there in.
If they have one like Ferrari F1, then they'll be there for about a week. See, not as quick, but here we go. Look, wait, and we're away.
Have you noticed on Project Cars 2 that the lollipop man can lift the stick, and yet you still sat there waiting?
Yeah, you still, you just sit there going, why? Yeah. Let's go forward. Yeah, absolutely. So right at the moment, Sooty, Apex is still, and Keegs are still the ones like the closest battle on track, really. As Gary's just got past Phil in the pits. as Phil Pitts, and I say this is probably the closest one. I was going to throw it out there this evening on the comments. We haven't had any comments for a while. If you the 21 people watching, I'm going to throw it out there tonight about favourite motorsport disciplines. So, for example, I mean, myself and you, Matt, are both British touring car fans, big British touring car fans. I think it's one of the best series on the planet. Do you know what I mean? I think it's brilliant racing, so competitive.
I completely agree with you on that one as well.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant racing with fantastic drivers up and down the grid. I'm also a massive Formula One fan. I have been for as long as I can remember. I don't think I've missed a race in 30 years. You know, for me, they're the two disciplines that I particularly like. I was a fan. I used to follow V8 supercars. I used to follow that. That was good stuff. And World Touring Car, I used to follow that for a while. But what's your discipline of choice out there? On the comments, let's hear it. Are you a rallying kind of person? Do you like the WRC, or maybe it's rallycross, or you know, I don't know.
Endurance bikes.
Endurance, GTs, yeah, well, bikes. We don't want to talk bikes, do we?
No.
Do we want to talk bikes?
Not really.
The only good thing about a motorbike is you can put the engines into cars. You know, that's about as far as I like a motorbike, you know. But if it's your thing, pop it up on the comments. Let's have let's see who's into what, and you know, what your discipline of choice is. And you know, why not for a bit of content?
See what people see what different variety of racing we get out there. As such, Apex was. Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, Matt, have you got any other disciplines that you're particularly a fan of?
I don't mind the British GTs, which is pretty much a bit of endurance into, you know, an hour or two's worth of racing. Touring cars, I love. F1, I'll watch every week. I'll try not to miss one. But each year, bar last year, I slowly get less and less interested because it just becomes a bit more of a parade than anything else.
In Formula
One. Last year really excited me with the new tracks, and obviously with COVID hitting, it actually made F1 a bit more exciting, and we had a lot of different winners, a lot of different podium cars on the podium. Racing Point was fantastic, Toro Rosso fantastic, McLaren fantastic. I say Toro Rosso, I mean AlphaTauri. But no, touring
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying about F1. I mean, hopefully the regulation change in 2022 will open things up, and you know, it's. I mean, I'll sit on a Sunday and I'll watch a Grand Prix the same week, the same time that British Touring Car is on, and you switch over to British Touring Car, and the race action is just you know, just unbelievable. As Little Leach is in the pits, and
Little Leach and Keegs coming into the pits
as well. Yes,
that's at the end of lap 14.
Yeah, it's getting close to the end, so all these guys who haven't pitted have got to get on with it and whatever. And no doubt, Matt, you know who's pitted and who hasn't pitted.
I do know. I can tell you who's not pitted. Jamie's not been in the pits. We've not seen Sooty Mazda, the only G, in the pits either. Although we won't see Mazda in because Mazda has retired from the race. So Sooty has lost that back rear of the. Yeah, Sooty's lost the rear of the car there, and on D Biggs will get past him and go back into P3. Obviously, D Biggs was net P3 before Sooty pitted. So Sooty obviously not really in a fight with D Biggs, but he's lost a lot of time if he was hoping to jump Keegs in the pits as Keegan Little Leach come back out onto the circuit. Not far apart from each other, actually. I think Keegs was a lot further behind Little Leach than that. Just looking at the comments, NJ says BTCC for him. Little Leach loves Moto X. Andrew Clegg, aka Andy, joins us in the commentary box, obviously racing tonight. GS32 World Records in the V8 Supercars on Project Cars 2. Said that one in quali. And then Pure Motorsport, there's actually a little bug apparently about a 1 second pit stop. Is that what D Biggs did? And apparently between 11 and 17 damage, you can get a pit stop for less than 1 second. So is that what D Biggs did there? As the only G this time comes into the pits. And like Andy was saying, multiple world records in the V8 Supercars on this Project Cars platform. 32 of them to be precise, all over different tracks. Some of them quite comfortable, others not as comfortable. I was going through the list the other day with a few people on the headset, and some of G's world records are like thousandths or hundredths in there, so very interesting to see. Big Boy Brazier will so the guys who's not pitted yet will have to pit this lap. Sorry, Kelly.
I was gonna quote a well-known film and saying it doesn't matter if it's an inch or a mile, winning's winning.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
so
100%.
yeah, you know, it doesn't matter if it's a tenth or a hundredth. It's you know, it's that taking that record that counts, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah, no, that's it. And, you know, hats off to G, because he does a fantastic job. Obviously, if you want to go and check G out a lot more, go over to Motive Racing at www.motiveracing.com, or check out their Discord server. Support them on Patreon as well, as they just set up a Patreon server. G, fantastic driver over there, and Andy, emo guy on Orthodubs, Fury as well, Smokey Devil and DJ Phil in the Pro-Am there over at Motive as well. Check them guys out, subscribe to the channel, hit their thumbs up button, because them guys bring out some great content. Kelly, you race here and commentate. I myself race and commentate in the Formula 1 and commentate on the touring cars and Clios. And it's a brilliant, I tell you what as well, it's a brilliant community, this racing community. Whether it's Motive, whether it's Simplay, whether it's somewhere else that you guys are part of or watch and follow on YouTube, the communities are absolutely brilliant, and so the support is fantastic. I know.
Yes, indeed.
Previous months, I've had a few bad months, me and my partner, but the support from both Simplay and Motive has been incredible, as we're seeing a battle here of Gary, Unorthodox, and Sutty. Sutty still hasn't pitted yet, so isn't really in this fight, but that shows you how much time he's lost by pitting till the very by waiting till the very end to pit.
Oh, Dan. Oh, and Gary.
Gary's followed him.
Oh, just followed him in.
Dan's lost. Dan can't even get away. He's lost it.
Yeah, got a bit greedy on the accelerator, trying to pull away, and just lost it. He's underway now. But Gary just followed him in. I don't think they touched.
Oh no, I think Sutty has pitted. Sorry, I think Sutty has pitted. In the comments, did we miss Sutty pitting? Because he has dropped behind Little Leach and Keegs. So I think he must have pitted.
My missus is tapping me on the shoulder saying that he has.
Right,
so,
there we go. There we go.
Yeah,
Sutty
absolutely.
Has
so,
thank you, Mrs. Davis.
Yeah. So I have no idea what we were talking about at that point. So there we go. We're getting into the closing stages now. What could have been for Gary? Look, 7th place. I don't think he's going to do much more about that in the closing stages.
Got 3 seconds to Sutty Apex. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for Gary, and he's just made. And what you saw at the hairpin there with Dan, nobody touched each other there. That is just Gary and Dan losing the rear. And Gary's done that 4 times in this first race, I do believe.
I think he has. And they're not running with traction control, are they?
No traction control. Just ABS.
No.
Just ABS.
Just ABS.
Yeah.
No traction control, no stability control. Regular users of Project Cars 2 probably know that stability control is like a lifeline. If you don't want to lose the back end of the car, it's like the I don't want to lose the back end of the car button, isn't it? You know,
it pretty much is.
Yeah, when you've got that on, everything's planted.
Yeah.
As soon as you switch that off, it gets a little bit more tricky. And again, once you take the traction control off, you know, this is you're looking at a car here that is a very powerful car, rear-wheel drive, rear-engined. You know, that is a handful. And in the rain, you know,
Oh, who's that? There's a Ferrari.
I think
that's Fury.
Fury, isn't it?
Yeah. Just losing. We've missed. I'll tell you what we've missed. We've missed
sorry.
Big Boy Brazy. No, it's all right. We've missed Big Boy Brazy across the line. He's taken a win here very convincingly. Apologies about that one, Jamie, but he's won the race in great style. The only G, what a drive for him. Going to take a P2 in tricky conditions. Good drive to keep up his championship lead. Obviously, Jamie would have pulled some points back. D Biggs, another solid performance for D Biggs. P3
not bad at all
on
with
track.
that Porsche, is it?
No, fantastic drive for him.
Yeah, good drive.
In P4 then at the moment, as he's still coming around the final couple of corners. I said this last night about DJ Phil, and then he lost a place on the final couple of corners. Keegs was 3 seconds to him, isn't going to get him at the end. Gary's actually just passed Sutty on the leaderboard. We'll come back to that one in a moment when we see Little Eats take P4. Keegs is going to take P5 here. With the looks of things, he's well in front of Gary 131. So Little Eats crosses line, he's flashing his lights. Keegs then coming over towards the pit wall, a flash of the lights for him. He's going to take a P5, so a great drive from him. Gary 131 though. What could have been tonight for Gary 131 as the cameraman picks him up. P6 for him. Sutty Apex, not best finish of the season. Tied best finisher. He's had 3 11th places and 2 7th places at the moment. Unorthodox P8 for him. So not the start to his night that he'd have wanted. as there is Emo Guy crossing the line in P9, with Welshie coming home P10. Fury spins across the line in P13.
Yeah, Peaceful there in 11th. Yeah, I'm going to apologise to Gary and Peaceful. I backed both of them, and they both didn't have the night that they wanted. I don't think they, to be fair, I don't think either of them were raced to their potential. Really, just some silly mistakes and whatever.
Yeah.
From me, my hat off to D Biggs and Little Leach, both in Porsches this evening, and we've been commenting and bigging Gary up all night about how well he's been driving the Porsche, but results count, and D Biggs and his brother Little Leach, good results there from those two. Do you know what I mean? But sorry, mate, go on.
No, I was just going to say, great results for them two in the Porsche.
Absolutely.
And another stellar job. Great result for Big Boy Brazy. The only G takes the fastest lap in that one as well.
Yes, we got to. I think Big Boy Brazier is the man we've got to take our hat off to this evening. Drove a brilliant race from pole to the flag, didn't put a foot wrong. Excellent drive.
No, didn't put a foot wrong. We're going to take a quick break. So don't go anywhere. Hit that thumbs up button. We'll be right back in a couple of moments with the second race. So don't go anywhere. Hit that thumbs up. Don't stay. We're right back.
You're the night sky trying to make me see your stars, but the dark gets lonely. Now I see violet, I can feel silence, and the dark's all that I see. When your stars are burnt out and your heart makes no sound, I'll find violet in your eyes. You'll always be my night sky.
I just realized I've built walls a mile high to protect my heart, but now I'm all alone, stuck on the inside. The heart doesn't need a castle, it needs a bridge. Been too scared that I'd unravel. Brick by brick, I built these walls. Now I know that I am strong. Just watch me tear them down. I'm gonna tear them down. If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart, is it really love? Just watch me march towards the battle. I'm gonna tear down this castle. I'm gonna tear down this castle.
I'm gonna tear down this car.
Watch me march. If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart, is it really love? If it couldn't break your heart, is it really love? If it can't tear you apart, is it really love? I criticized myself for trusting lies. I know I can't hide, 'cause then I'd be alone, stuck on the inside. The heart doesn't need a castle, it needs a bridge. Been too scared that I'd unravel. Brick by brick, I built these walls. Now I know that I'm enough. Just
Play it so slow. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. Play it so slow. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down. I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna 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 turn it up and then I'ma turn it up and then I'm gonna take it down.
Welcome back then to Simplay Motorsport, and we're here for the second qualifying of the session. 10 minutes then here at the Portimao circuit here in Algarve. The Algarve circuit here in Portimao. I got that the wrong way around there. We are hoping to get the top three and we'll hopefully get them in. That was Jamie Brazier, the only G, and Little Leach. Let's see if they do come in. The top 8, don't forget, cannot qualify. So Gary, Little Leach, Sooty Apex, the only G, Unorthodox, Keegs, Big Boy Brazier and D-Biggs cannot qualify. Everybody else can. So let's see what they do, as Jamie Brazier has just joined us for a chat. So we normally end with the winner and start with third place, but what we'll do is we'll start with first place this time. Jamie, that was a very convincing win and a good pole position in the wet.
Yeah, I didn't expect that at all. I didn't expect to have that sort of pace compared to Gary, so I've seen in testing that he'd been absolutely rapid, so it was a bit of a surprise to see me go 2 tenths quicker than him.
Conditions tricky out there, was it?
Yeah, they were quite tricky, just kept my pace and made sure I kept it on the track.
You got your head down early doors, pulled away from G. G said in the chat that that setup was not made for the wet. You got your head down and got 10 seconds up the road from him. Just plain sailing for you, really, wasn't it?
Yeah. To be fair, that's the setup I was using was actually meant to be for the dry, but me and Keeks just found it so good for the wet that we decided to use it for qualifying in the race.
Yeah, I was going to say your teammate Keegs got a good P5, best finish for you two of the season. Keegs with the 5th place and you were the 1st, obviously, and good points for the team going into the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, it is good points, so hopefully we can get a few more good points in this one and see where we are at the end of the evening.
Well, what are your plans for the second race in this one? Obviously starting by the back of the grid, what do you think you can do from there?
Just pick my way through it and try and avoid any carnage that happens in the first few laps.
Well, best luck, mate. We'll let you get to it.
Thank you.
Cheers, buddy. So there was a quick word from Jamie Brazier, the race 1 winner himself, who very pleased with his win there. Very happy. Running out dry, setup is sorted for the dry, and it ran better in the wet.
Well, who would have known? Who would have known?
Yeah, all the time and preparation you can go into making a setup and feeling comfortable, and it not working. As I'm just looking up, we've just lost a driver. Not quite sure who that one is. They've got time to get back in.
Dan? No, not Dan. No, he's
not
there.
Dan. So Sooty, Keegs,
it's one of those crazy memory games, isn't it? When that happens.
So we've got Gary there.
Absolutely.
Jamie's there. D Biggs is there, Keegs is there, Dan's there,
Bill's there,
Little Leach is there, Peaceful Explosion's there, the only G's there,
G, yeah,
Mazda's there, Andy's there. I tell you what, looks like we're missing.
Go on.
Actually, I don't know because I can't see Fury or Emo Guy.
I can see Fury. There's Fury.
Oh, P7, yeah. So we're missing Emo Guy.
Emo Guy, Ian. He's the one missing at the moment.
Hopefully he gets himself back in.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
For this. Obviously, top 8 cannot qualify then. Just going to quickly just say, G managed to pull a point over Gary there, and you're wondering why you pulled a point. Gary's taken double points for tonight, so that, double points, and G still managed to pull a point ahead. Obviously, race 2, Gary starting last at the moment, it seems. So not what he'd have wanted. Big Boy Brazier closed that gap as well. So did D Biggs. Bit of lag there suggests that Emo Guy's back in, and indeed he is. So he's back in and ready to go for this second race then, or qualifying. D Biggs 4th. Andy still keeps 5th place, but that gap's closed between him, Peaceful and Little Each. Unorthodox moved up a couple of places there. And Welshie as well off the bottom of the table, up above Fury and Deeks. In the Constructors title, Leach Motorsport gained quite a few points on that one. Iron Brew now tied with Shake and Bake. Obviously Shake and Bake only down to one driver. Andy currently on pole at 151.7, and it looks like the rain has eased up a little bit here, and it looks like we've got a bit of dry running on track.
Well, yeah, I don't know about dry, but certainly you're right. It's certainly stopped raining by the looks of it, and how quickly it's going to dry up. That's the question now. And are we going to have a wet to dry in the race itself? If so, we're going to have a tyre change, which will be very interesting. Certainly with the Project Cars 2 mechanics, because ask them to do anything as stressful as changing tyres. Wow.
Well, exactly. We're not going to see any of them 1 second pit stops like we saw from D Biggs' pit crew in the first race. If it looks like we could end up with a tyre change. Rain's still forecast as well, so we are expecting some more rain. We'll have to see if it does come. Bit of a kind of mixed forecast looking at it. Bit of rain, bit of dry, but we don't know when the rain's going to come. Looking at Welshie currently on circuit at the minute, P3 so far. Mazda's gone back to his trusted McLaren. Obviously, Mazda not scoring points at all. Wherever Mazda finishes, those guys who finish behind him will get jumped up that extra place, because Mazda will not be classified at the final results. He is just purely here in as a filler. Obviously not been in the car for 3 weeks. This is the car you'd normally see him in on the Pro-Am.
There he goes.
And that's not something you'd normally see that man do. To be fair, back into the pits he goes. P6, 11 seconds off the pace. Fury well down on his time, as Emo Guy not yet set a time. This man though, as Phil's gone quickest now, so it's Lamborghini, Mercedes-Benz, Lamborghini, McLaren, Ferrari, Lamborghini. This man could be in for a pole based off his qualifying pace in the first race tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely in the hunt, and definitely capable. So, only 3 minutes left. Of course, it's only a 10-minute session, this one. So the guy's got to get out there and get on with it. They're, just a tad under 2 minutes on a quick lap. So, it doesn't take long by the time you've done an out lap for that time to get sucked up really quickly, So, so the guys have got to get on with it a little bit. You don't really want too many failed runs. You want to just get a little bit quicker lap for lap. And is the track drying out? Is it going to be best to be the last person on track tonight?
Well, this is interesting. What is Welshie doing in the pits? Would he think of sticking the slicks on and just giving it one last go? That's an interesting question to see in the go. He's got to get out, obviously, before that 1 minute 50 mark. Otherwise, he's not going to get a lap in.
Any second now, really. He wants to be.
He's got to be leaving that garage any time now, really, if he wants to get out. Doesn't look like he's doing so. Phil as well in the pits. He's just dropped back to second as Andy now on pole. If we see Phil's car moving any time now, that'll be an indication to him coming out as well. Andy looks good for his money at the moment, coming around the final couple of corners. Is that Peaceful Explosion?
Peaceful.
There we go. We've just said it a moment ago.
151.
Yes, Jamie Brazier, 150.067 in qualifying one. Now a 150.1. Track seeming to improve a lot here. 8/10. That's a big chunk of time that Andy's got to find. And can Peaceful find even more in this last run he's going to get? He may get one more lap in after this. It will be touch and go for Peaceful Explosion, but he's definitely going to get this lap in, so it's going to count. Welshie and Phil will not get another lap in. So have they missed a trick? What's this man going to do? Is the track just slowly improving? You see, very twitchy, that Lamborghini on the exit to that final bend. And he's sort of mid-start straight now. What's Andy going to do as he crosses the line? Well, he doesn't improve there. Emo Guy does a time, and Emo Guy into the 49s. Andy's pulled out, so Andy's not going to get another run in here. But Emo Guy, 1:49.1, will get a final run in. What can Peaceful Explosion do? He's got to find a second from somewhere. What can he find in that Mercedes-Benz? It really is, isn't it?
It's a drying and it's evolving. For sure. So, yes, what can Peaceful do? We got first man in the 149s this evening as the track starts to dry out, and 149.1 as well. That's a full second ahead of Peaceful as he comes around. What can he do in this last lap? Goes wide there. That's the end of that. No, that's the end of that one.
Yeah, and he's not going to get to the start line now in 35 seconds. Fury, Deeks, Mazda's gone in the pit, so Mazda's not going to improve on a 2-minute 2. Clearly not finding that McLaren any good at the moment, or maybe just treating it as a bit of a test for a bit of a race setup. What can Fury do then? Can Emo Guy improve anymore? What will Deeks do as Peaceful Explosion pulls into the pits? Can Emo Guy get his first pole position of the season? Because at the moment he looks good value for money for it. 1 second was the gap between him and Peaceful. Peaceful's pitted. Fury and Deeks have got to find 3.5 near enough to get that pole position.
Yes, indeed. Fury getting a big back end out a little bit as he came round there. Deeks has gone across the line and has not improved. So really, if Ian can go faster than his time, or if Fury can put it on pole. Where's Fury on track? That's the end of that for Fury.
So it is going to be Emo Guy to take the pole position, even if he improves his lap. He's still going to take pole. This will be the final lap then of qualifying as Fury's put that one back in the pit lane. And Emo Guy's going to cross the line. He's going to be the man on the pole position. Does he improve anymore? He goes into the 48s.
40, was that a 48.5?
Yeah, 48.5. Well then, track evolution. It was important to be out there at the very end. Nobody else was other than... Yeah, you did. You called it, Kelly. Nobody else was out there bar Emo Guy and Fury. Fury lost it. Emo Guy puts one on pole. His first pole position of the season to match his teammates' 2 pole positions. So the Lamborghini of Class of 97 going good guns at the moment. Emo Guy on pole with Peaceful Explosion second. Andy P3, 2.4 off the back teammate, but wasn't out there at the end to get that final run in. Phil, 2.9 off what could have been for him maybe. Fury and Deeks, P5 and 6, excuse me, they messed their runs up at the end. Welshie didn't get back out there for another time. Mazda didn't seem to put a decent lap in as well. Sutty Apex will start 9th. Now, from Sutty down to the 8 that couldn't qualify, so these are all randomly generated. So Sutty will start 9th, Keegs 10th, Unorthodox will start P11 with Only G in 12th. Big Boy Brazier will start 13th with Little Each 14th, D-Biggs 15th, and Gary 131 at the back of the grid. So obviously straight into the race, track drying, track maybe dry, obviously time-wise an hour later. Weather still about though, so they've got to be cautious as to, obviously pit window lap 6, they can pit if the weather changes beforehand. They've got to be a bit cautious of what's going to happen here. But who are you tipping for this one?
Oh, who am I tipping? Well, they're probably all sat there. The ones watching the stream are probably all sat there saying, "Don't say my name, don't say my name." But I still think I think Ian's got a good chance at this Emo Guy.
Yeah.
Especially if the track's drying. I'm still saying that Peaceful Andy from that position has got a good chance. Don't count out G. Let's also see what Jamie's pace is like from the back of the grid and as the track dries and changes. All to play for, but Peaceful, come on, dude, let's have it this time. So that's who I'm backing. Sorry, man.
Yeah, let's see as well what Gary can do from the back of the pack. Obviously struggled in race 1.
Yes,
what can
indeed.
he do in the dry, as well as Jamie Brazier and the Only G. D-Biggs and Little Each I think will be one to keep an eye on as well. They finished 4 and 3 last race, so let's see what them guys can do from the back as well. A few people in the chat. Monkey Boy saying come on Peaceful, then Fury's Grandad go, FU Racing, obviously Fury Unorthodox Racing. A lot of work to do for them. Ferraris in P11 and P5. Good qualifying Fury P5 in that Ferrari. What he could have done maybe that last run, could he have got it on the front row? Hard to say with a drying track and how good a run lap he'd had. But P5, it's going to be hard for him to keep that there by the end of this race.
Yes, indeed. just looking at the comments, we threw it out there a bit earlier, or I did, to tell us what your favourite discipline was, and looks like everyone completely ignored that. But
oh no, we had a few in.
We had a few, but if you do want to jump on board, oh, here we go. Look, we're just about to get synced up and ready to go. So Emo Guy on the pole position. Don't bother going and making a cup of tea. Don't go and do anything else. Keep your eyes on this. We are green and away as the pack splits out, and keep watching, because it's Emo Guy has got the run into turn 1. Peaceful's right there with him.
Ooh.
And I didn't see quite what happened in the background there, as we're Emo Guy gets a cracking good start. But watch there in the background, it all looks pretty clean, to be fair.
Yeah, it all looked away quite well there. I was owing at Peaceful, getting a bit later on the brakes than Emo Guy, and I thought he could have tapped the rear of him, but managed to keep it out of trouble. So it's Mercedes, Lamborghini at the start. Phil went up into 4th place. Deeks has just got past Fury as well. Mazda, decent start for him, up into 7th place. Gary up into 13th with Big Boy Brazier 12th. G down to 16th, so not the start the only G would have wanted here. But Emo Guy did exactly what he needed to do, and more importantly, the two Ferraris didn't collide with each other off the line here.
That's nice.
As Emo Guy then back uphill. This trick corner's a bit tricky as well. It's kind of like off. It kind of sort of leans to the right a little bit, as well as going uphill. And you've just got to carry as much momentum through there as possible. Gary now down to 14th place as Big Boy Brazier is up to 15th. Fury's going backwards. He's down to 9th. Not sure what's happening there. Big Boy Brazier looks like he's going to try and have a look up the inside. I didn't see who that was, but Big Boy Brazier just tapping the rear of Fury there. Maybe nudging him a bit wide. It was Little Leach who went off. He's dropped down to 16th for well off the pack. Then Welshie getting himself in a bit of a scrap, and that's one of the Ferraris who just tapped Sutty there. I don't know if Sutty went round. It was... Oh, I don't know who it was. They're both next to each other.
I don't know who it was. There was a whole load of smoke. Couldn't really tell who it was, to be fair.
That's Welshie. I think... Yep. Oh, Welshie's tapped Big Boy Brazier. I thought Welshie may have tapped his younger son there of Keegs, but no, he's tapped Big Boy Brazier, and Brazier around. D Biggs has lost out to the only G, who's now gaining on Gary, but D Biggs going to fight back for this one here as they head down the start straight, and Welshie letting Big Boy Brazier out of that spot back, but not the stop for Jamie. Mazda trying to overtake Deeks as they head down to turn 1. Gary's having a look on Keegs, and look at D Biggs here. Is he going to look up the inside of the only G? Yes, he is. G gives him plenty enough room there that G has to run wide. Yeah, Gary's still fighting with Keegs. Look, just up in front. Can't find a way through, although he's managed to stick a nose up the inside. But he's going to be on the outside for the run through turn 4. On the outside line. Can't get it done. D-Biggs, look at the momentum all over the curve and spins round. D-Biggs loses the rear of the car just after a great move. But it's Gary now down at the hairpin. Can he get one done? No, he can't. Keegs are a bit deep, and Gary's going to sneak it on the apex. Get the run out the corner, and Keegs looks like he's managed to get a decent run. Although here comes Gary. Going to be on the outside for the next part of the track. Keegs... Does he fight it back? Yes, of course he does. Keep it on the inside. Keep it on the inside. Oh, Gary's got the job done.
Oh, yes, he has. His back end starts to step out, but he's still on it. Keegs is still right there, close enough to touch him as they drop down into this, into the tip here. Yeah, good racing there. Good racing from both of them, nice and clean. But Keegs, I say that.
Oh, Keegs, Gary, synchronised, sliding G as well.
Oh, G's gone round as well.
Oh, 3 of them just synchronised sliding there. I don't know what the flash is for from Gary, but a bit of synchronised sliding from 3 of them. All 3 different manufacturers as well, so I'm not sure what happened there. G now dead last in this race.
Well, I think Keegs got into the back of Gary, and I think Keegs backed off and gave it back to Gary after they sorted themselves out. But I think Keegs got into the back of him, just outbraked himself and just gave him a bit of a tap. And from what I saw, he gave that place back. So we're on board with Jamie Brazier just putting the moves over Fury down the straight.
Oh, he's done him. Look at that. Here goes Gary quicker as well.
Yeah, Gary as well. That Ferrari.
Oh, Fury turns into the side of Gary, and Gary loses the rear of the car. Again. I don't know. I kind of don't know what to say about that from Fury. To be fair, he just turned in on the Porsche. It was right next to him. A bit reckless here from Fury, but Gary down to P12. He's got recovered. Just about to say Phil's got Andy up front as well.
Yes, he has. Phil has got him. And it's still in close contact, so it's only just happened. Peaceful. Just I don't know what the gap was beforehand, but he's close to Emo Guy Ian, who's out in front from the pole position, keeping it all together. Lap 3. Still loads and loads going on track. Let's drop down to where one of the battles is. Deeks, Sooty Apex, Mazda, Dan
Unorthodox, yeah.
all in close company. Yeah, it's all going on, that's for certain, sure. And it's where to look next, as Gary and Little Leach are having fun together. These guys are brothers.
What's happened to Big Boy Brazier? He's dropped behind Gary.
He has. I don't know what happened to Jamie. I don't know why he went backwards. Don't know if he had a little half spin or whatever. But seems to be attacking on Gary, going right round the outside of Gary. Sorry, he was trying to, but Gary kept his inside line and kept it all together as he tries to reel in his brother and try and keep that portion a straight line. I think Gary's had a bit of an unfortunate couple of laps.
Kelly, you seen what I'm seeing?
Yeah. What's that?
Rain.
What's that? Is it starting to rain?
It's
yes,
raining.
It is indeed. Yes,
so the rain's
raining.
back here then. The rain is starting to fall here at Portimao then. And what are the guys going to do? Obviously, you can't pit on the same lap as your teammate. For D-Biggs and Mazda, you haven't got a teammate. Big Boy Brazier is taking full advantage of that one and pitting at the end of lap 3 to get them. It's not going to be wet enough yet.
I was going to say, is that too early? Has he gone too early?
I'd say so. The track, it's not raining heavy yet, is it? But he's gone in for what can only be described as the wet tyre. Why else would you pit this early? It's nowhere near. It's not coming down hard enough yet for the wets.
No, not at all. And that'll either be a stroke of genius, or really, really bad for Jamie. But then he was having a bit of a shocker at that point anyway. So be on the right tyres at the right time. That's what they say is the trick to motorsport, isn't it?
They do.
So is he going to be on the right tyres at the right time? He certainly pulled the trigger. Is he on the wets, or was he? I mean, did he come in for damage?
That's a good point, actually. He's still in the pits thinking about it. He's just come out now, so that's a pretty long tyre change for me. Where's Gary? Loves the wet, greasy conditions, like I said in race 1. He's just there behind Welshie and D-Biggs. Peaceful drops back a bit from Emo Guy, just looking at the times. Phil and Andy still in close quarters. D-Biggs gets a bit of a wiggle and goes straight on. Now, interesting thing here, how many people from Emo Guy down are going to pit this lap for the wet tyre? This is the interesting thing. Peaceful's in.
Peaceful's gone. Peaceful's pulled the trigger. Again, is it wet enough yet? Who knows?
I tell you what they might be doing though. Is he going to pit with G being so far behind? Can he get his tyres done before G gets there? Sutty's pulled the trigger as well. Mazda, so is he. So a few drivers here just starting to pull the trigger.
Keegs. Some rooster tails.
Oh no! What's that? Keegs has got to drive. Keegs has got a 10-second penalty here. He didn't have a penalty before.
Speeding
no track limits on speeding in the pit lane for me. D-Biggs in the pits as well.
I should be able to.
10 second. Yeah, 10-second penalty. Yeah, 10-second penalty for Keegs.
Yeah, 10 second. Yeah, you're quite right. I've got to get that off now. Sorry. There you go.
You're all right. Little Leach as well is in the pits. Yep. So a lot of drivers there pitting. G didn't come in for a change of tyres. Neither did. So everybody from G up didn't pit for a set of different tyres. Emo Guy, Andy, Phil, Deeks, Unorthodox, Gary and the only G did not pit for tyres. Sutty, out of all of that, has jumped Peaceful Explosion in the pits. So Sutty's had a fantastic pit stop. Did it change his tyres? We'll find out. What is going to happen though? Obviously the rain causing some chaos here and some great racing at the same time. You hear Unorthodox here, I don't think it was Unorthodox Ferrari, I think it was someone else behind him. But you see Unorthodox not kind of getting the power down like he'd want. You can tell he's trickling that car around as Gary there. Looked like he was going a bit quicker, but it was a bit wide on that corner. Yes. Andy's got past Phil, and quite comfortably as well, actually. So Andy's up to second. The problem is here, Andy and Emo Guy can't pit on the same lap.
No, you're quite right, because they're teammates. So,
dear.
Andy is just tiptoeing around that corner. Has Ian gone through again, has he? No, he's not.
Ian's
there he goes.
Ian's in.
He's in. So Andy's going to have to go round again.
Yeah. If he doesn't, it'll be a drive-through penalty. Andy staying out. So you kind of do it. I say Andy gets a drive-through penalty. What I mean is you pretty much drive past your pit box.
Yes.
And obviously it's treated like a drive-through penalty. Phil, his span I've just seen at the top of the screen on the entrance to the pits. So not only has he may have damage on that car, he was coming in and a span on the entry to the pit lane. Cameraman's not yet picked him up. That was Unorthodox and Gary in the pits as well.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's not picking up. So nearly everybody else except Andy. Andy's the one who's going to lose out here. I don't think G's pitted either yet, has he? Has G pitted?
No, G's not pitted. I'm expecting him to come round and into the pits now. He's not come flying past these guys just yet.
Oh, Deans has missed his pit box. Was that his pit box?
No, there's his pit box.
He's missed somebody else's pit box. He did a bit of a Jensen Button there and pulled
Where's
into the
G?
wrong...
I think G's had a spin. G's only just came into the pits.
Yeah, oh, look at the damage on that Merc.
Yeah, he's had a bad spin.
Right up, that is.
Yeah, he's had a bad spin there, so the only G, not the pit stop he'd have wanted. Gary's only just away. He's jumped Phil in the pits, because Phil obviously span at the pit entry line. So for Phil, he's had a nightmare of a pit stop. Andy leads by 25 seconds. Sutty could be in the lead of this race. Deeks has got a time penalty, so that's potential. That can only be... Oh, who's retired? Deeks has retired. So no points for Deeks today. At all in this one. What a shame for Deeks. Retired from the race. No points. Nil points for him. What a shame for him in this one.
Andy losing time.
Massively.
Andy losing time. Hand over fist at the moment. The gap down to 20 seconds. It was 24 seconds just a moment ago. It's down to 20.
Yeah.
As Andy's having to
look at Fury.
Round. Who's this coming out
That's
behind
Fury.
him?
Fury's a lap down, I do believe.
Lap down, but he's on the right tyres.
Yeah, look at the difference in grip. Fury just drives around him here.
17 seconds down.
G's still in the pitch. G could be a lap down in this one because of the damage he may have sustained. Gary's down in 11th. Big Boy Brazy, the man who came in early, is up into P9. So maybe he has pulled a blinder there. There goes a cone. Andy cannot get around these final couple of corners. He's really struggling.
Interesting line. Don't miss the pit.
Get it slowed down. Get it slowed down. He's coming in now. Andy just gets it into the pit lane. Sutty's going to be in the lead of this race. What a pit stop for him.
Yes, indeed. And that was pulling the trigger at the right time. That is. For sure, there's cones all over the place. It looks like the ice cream van had an accident there. There's cones everywhere.
I tell you, someone who's had a bad pit stop, Kelly. Just looking at the time screen, Emo Guy down in 6th. What happened in his pit stop?
In the lead. Before the rain, he was comfortably in the lead, and as I say, now he's down in 5th at the moment. Peaceful and Sutty, basically the net winners out of that one, especially Sutty. That was timed absolutely beautifully. And as I said earlier,
do you know what? I hope he's on the wheel.
Yeah, so do I.
Because if he's on the wheel and he gets a race win, he'll be going absolutely mental. I hope he's on the wheel for this one. Peaceful trying to reel in Sutty Apex, who goes a bit deep at the hairpin, gets it stopped and turned in just nicely. Mazda's 3rd with Keegs 4th. Unorthodox back in the pits. What has happened to Dan? Did it not change his tyres?
Oh, did he go on ice tyres? Did he have damage?
Oh, no, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know what's happened, but he's just coming into the pits again. So this is going to be a disaster. A couple of guys having an absolute shocker. Dan having a shocker. Only G.
Oh, and he's away.
Having a shocker as well. Yeah. Little Leach, again, not the same sort of form we saw in race 1. Anne's got, and struggling for pace.
Is he on the dry tyre?
I don't know, because look, Fury's just reeled him in.
Oh, we've lost someone else who's retired. Unorthodox is retired. We've lost Dan. No points for Dan.
No. Dan's
what
out.
a shame.
What's to him.
Little Leach coming back into the pits.
Yeah, back in the pits, probably for the right tyres, to be fair.
Oh, the game's not changed. The game won't change his tyres. Something's gone wrong there where it's not changing his tyres. That's a shame. That is a massive shame. But look at this man, Emo Guy, reeling Keegs and Master in here at this moment. He's really on some good pace. Looks comfortable around Algov. 3rd time lucky, says Little Leach. So is Little Leach having the same problem as Dan?
Could well be, by the sounds of it. They won't change. These mechanics, what have I said about them? They're useless. You want headlights? Great. They put headlights in, but anything else, they're useless at. Absolutely useless. As we see... could Ian still drag this one back? He's 7 seconds off the lead, 9 laps to go, but moving with quick pace in the 151s, but then so Sutty and so Peaceful. The 2 guys in front of him, 2 seconds slower on that last lap.
Look at who's in the 150s. Big Boy Brazier, P7, lapping quicker than Emo Guy, Sutty and Peaceful Explosion.
Yes, he is. Quite well spotted there, Matthew. I knew there was a reason we kept you around. Big Boy Brazier, as you say, in the 150s, and again, he's another man that's going well. Is he? this setup seems to be working for him in all conditions, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah.
You know, but certainly works well in the wet. So keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on Jamie Brazier. See where he, as he starts to drag him in. As we can still see that Emo Guy is still on the hunt for Keegs, but Keeg got a 10-second penalty, mind. So
he has, so he's not got to fight him too hard here. But I suppose if he wants to get up to the back of Sutty and Peaceful Explosion, he's got to get past him to get up to the front. Mazda in his normal McLaren, going through just ahead of Keegs on the podium at the moment. Peaceful has just started to drop off the back of Sutty Apex here.
Yeah.
And
3 seconds back. Yeah.
Is it me, or is it just getting a bit brighter again?
Yeah, it could be actually. Yeah, it could well be. Could we end up back on slicks by the end of the race? That would certainly spice things up again, wouldn't it?
That'd throw the cat among the pigeons, wouldn't it? I suppose.
It would. And we know in the virtual world that rain dries up an awful lot quicker than it does in the real world. So, funnily enough, yeah, we could still see.
Oh, look at Emo Guy.
That's Emo Guy. Past Keegs.
Past Keegs. Well, past Keegs there.
Yeah, indeed. But Keegs hasn't given that one up just yet. But no need to fight him too hard. He has got a 10-second penalty. You know, so, and he is very capable of winning this. But you know, they're not thinking about penalties. They're thinking about driving. So
yeah, exactly.
And the best position they can have.
What driver cares about what penalty they've got? They just want to finish as high up as they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't care less about the penalties. You know, it's the prestigious driving. You see that puddle there on the inside of that corner? It's quite a puddle, isn't it? You don't want to apex that corner at all, really, do you?
You don't. I tell you what, I want to know what setup Emo Guy's got on, because he has dropped Keegs and stayed on the back of Mazda quite nicely here.
Yeah.
Emo Guy looks quick around this circuit, matching the same as Sutty. Mazda just 7/10 slower than Emo Guy last lap, and look at that Mazda a bit wide out the corner. He's going to be able to have the inside line coming down here. No, he's backed out of that one. Oh, Mazda ran wide.
No, I
think Mazda touched that puddle and it sent him a bit wide there. Cameraman. Oh, what's happened to Emo Guy?
Bit
of lag there. Bit of lag for Emo Guy. Oh, D-Big's in the background. Really losing the car. Really getting out of shape there. He rejoins now. There's Big Boy Brazier. The rain on my screen appears to have stopped. I can't see any rain falling at the moment. Keegs on the back of Emo Guy now. So Mazda's back in front on that one. Gary's not really close into the back of Welshie much here, but Andy gaining on the back of Gary. On board with Keegs then. Sorry, go on,
yeah,
Kevin.
Still a lot of spray. Let's go on with Sutty and see how wet the screen looks. Not particularly.
Now,
Sutty
why is he...
Is he looking for dry patches already?
Was he looking for dry, or was he looking for wet patches to keep his tyres cooler?
Maybe.
I mean, I tell you something, you know, maybe it's drying.
Yeah, and maybe he's trying to keep those tyres cool and alive. Yeah, this is still all to play for with 7 laps to go. As we saw, Emo Guy is now still on the back of Mazda. Hasn't managed to get round him yet.
Oh, there's Peaceful!
That's Peaceful!
Oh no! He's lost it coming through turn 4. Was comfortably in second place. He's lost it coming through turn 4. What an absolute shame for him, because he was running so well tonight in this second race especially. And again, just another mistake for Peaceful. He's got the pace, but it's just silly little mistakes that's costing him these points at the end of the day. I'm going to tell you what, you won't want to make a couple more of them. He's got D-Biggs and Big Boy Brazier gaining on him. Andy has got past Gary. Gary had a nightmare of a last lap.
Yeah, I wonder what that was all about. Yeah, we didn't catch up on that. As you can see, that Big Boy Brazier's all over the back of D-Biggs. Certainly got pace, Jamie has this evening. And the Rooster Tails the track is drying, isn't it? It is drying.
It really is, yeah.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
The track is definitely drying, because the lap times are into the 150s for Big Boy Brazier last time around, and the only G in the 150s. And I'm wondering here, when is it going to dry out? 8 laps left. Look at that line. You look at the line through the last corner. You see the line drier. Emo Guy up the outside of Mazda, and Mazda's going to tuck back in. Emo Guy gets that one done. Good job there from Emo Guy.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and yeah, on that last corner as well. What a place to do it in the wet. So we'll see if Ian starts to pull away from Mazda now and can set on getting after Sooty. But
what's interesting to note, there was barely any spray coming down that straight until they sort of dropped downhill.
Oh,
Emo guy!
no!
Oh, the good work has gone horribly wrong. He's nearly rolled back on in front of Keegs there. Look, there's very little spray now on this circuit. Not as bad as it was a moment ago. D Biggs is still in front of Big Boy Brazier. And Emo guy was running so well in this one and just got on the curb on the exit of turn 1, and that seemed to spin him round there.
Yes,
Gary's back in the pits. Now, is this the trigger for slick tyres? Gary back in the pit lane. Is he pulling that trigger? Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Tyres are going on. Are they going on? Aren't they going on?
Lollipops.
Who knows?
Tyres are there. They've got grooves in on my screen.
And mine too. I mean, you pull into the pits and it's throw a 6 to start, really. It's just blind luck what you're going to get when you go in there. As some of the drivers were complaining, Dan being one of them, and
Little Leach the other.
That they're not changing tyres or whatever. Jamie Brazier's got in front of Peaceful on track.
Oh, he has. So's
D
Biggs and Emo guy. Where is Peaceful? He's not even in the background.
7th.
He's there.
Yeah.
He's had an off at some point. Phil is in the pits as well. Now, is Phil in for dry tyres as well? Let's keep an eye on Phil and Gary's lap times. See if them lap times come down, because that's going to be interesting to watch. Sooty has an 8-second lead.
Early?
Peaceful on the curbs again, losing the car. He's got pace as Peaceful, but these little mistakes, Kelly, just keep costing him. You're saying it's too early, but I'm looking at the lap times. Oh, who's that? Oh, that's Big Boy Brazier.
That's Jamie, yeah.
Just looking at the lap times, Kelly. 151, 151, 151, 151, 151. There's quite a few 151s on the board. Keegs last lap and Emo guy last lap. Maybe not Peaceful and Jamie Brazier this time round. Gary's is obviously going to be an outlap, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do. But at the moment, the times are coming down. Where's G? G's P11. He did a 2-minute lap, so that's not... He's obviously had a bit of a mistake somewhere. There's a lot of 1-minute 51s on that timing board, and a lot of drivers here just starting to get their lap times down a little bit. And it's interesting to see that these times are falling, and only 2 drivers have been in.
Still an awful lot of standing water for slicks, if you ask me. But
surely though, Gary and Phil though, Kelly, I put this to you. Gary and Phil by the back of the pack, not really out the front where they'd want to be. Nothing to lose.
Yeah, absolutely, and why not? And again, we've got 6 laps left now. If Gary has gone on to slicks, then he's doing a great job of keeping that in a straight line, to be fair. What is there to lose exactly? Why not? A tyre change at the right time, right tyres, right time can be a stroke of genius. So
it really could be. Let's keep an eye on Gary and Phil's time. So Gary's just on a 59.4 as an outlap. That's Keegs who's gone wide. So Emo guy's gone through. Keegs was very, very wide there. Now, what we could be seeing here is, are the wet tyres burning up a bit if it's drying out? Are they starting to get a bit overheated? Is Jamie Brazier struggling just to get around that corner there? I tell you now.
Wasn't he in front of Peaceful just a minute ago?
He spanned into the end of last lap.
I'm losing track. I'm losing track of who was in front of who and who was behind who. Because
the conditions. Oh, look at Peaceful, wide, and Jamie Brazier is going to be up the inside here. But no, he's not, because he's backed out of it. But there's that many chopping and changes because people are spinning the car and losing the car. That look at it, it looks dry. Oh no, he's not tucking in the pits. He's defending. Look at this bit now. They've gone up over the hill and look at it. No spray. They're going to that side of the track. I think Peaceful's gone there to keep his tyres cool.
Maybe. And as he gets, I was going to say was better on the brakes, but runs wide. Jamie had the better line through there and makes the move stick.
Peaceful's come back at him now up the inside at turn 3. Going to force Jamie a bit wide onto the curb, and he did. He got a bit twitchy. Jamie fights back up the inside, coming through 4. We said about the run, but you don't necessarily need the run through here in the race. It's all about a qualifying lap. Mazda in the 1-minute 50. So is Emo guy. So is Big. So is Big Boy Brazier. Whereas Sooty in the 51. So Mazda just starting to gain on Sooty Apex now. Gary, let's see what his time will be when he crosses the line. Obviously it's not about lap times, but we think Gary's on the dry tyre here. Obviously if you can get to the end, you've done your mandatory stop. If you can get to the end, great. But has Gary maybe anticipated somebody pitting or others pitting. What's Gary going to do here? He's got 25 seconds back to Andy. Gary crosses the line. 146. It's dry. It's dry enough.
Yeah, he's
dry
on
enough.
slicks, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely.
He's on slicks at 146, so that just blows the doors off everyone else's lap times right at the moment.
And
But
it's
is
dry
it,
enough for it as well. That's the thing. It's obviously dry enough to get that kind of pace.
Yes, it is. So.
There's D Biggs, a lap
Biggs
down.
going round.
Oh, and he nearly caught Phil there. Phil, don't forget, the other man on the dry tyre. Let's see what Gary and Phil can do. D Biggs losing it then, so Big Boy Brazier will be trying to gain on the back of D Biggs once again. But Gary, 146.1. Good pace in that Porsche. Has he got enough to maybe gain 1 or 2 more places? Is anybody else going to try the slick tyre? Someone is. D Biggs is, with the looks of that. He's in the pits. Is he pitting for slicks? Peaceful again, pulling to the left at the right hand side of the start straight, looking for that wet part of the track, Kelly, to cool his wets down. The track is dry, and track evolution in qualifying important. We've had a bit of a shower here, and it's made this race very topsy-turvy. There goes Welshie up into 7th. Will Andy come past? Let's see. I think Andy's had a moment here. Andy's took an excursion across part of the track. And he's round again.
Round again. Wet. Yeah, just tyres all soaking wet now. No traction whatsoever. Stays, does the right thing and resets. Doesn't get in anybody else's way as Gary went past him. So
look at that
Gary
dry line.
Let's see what Gary does on this lap. 4 laps to go. Is it worth it? Do you know what I mean? Is it worth it?
I suppose it's just depending. Can you make them tyres last till the end of the race? Emo guy's into the 49s on the wet tyre. Gary's going to cross the line 45.8. D Biggs has came out ahead of Gary by 8 seconds, so D Biggs has done the right thing. Phil was in the 1 minute 50s last time round, so not the best of laps, but we'll see what he can do. Andy's clearly as tyres maybe have gone, that's why he was spinning round. He's now in the pit, so maybe he knows what he's got to do.
Well, again, Andy's in a position now where he's got really nothing to lose, has he? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Where do we score points to? All the way down to 10th?
15th score. No, 15th score points.
Okay.
Only 16th place doesn't score points. 15th gets 1 point, so everybody's guaranteed a point here. Fury currently 14th, guaranteed at least 2 points. So that is a bonus. Keegs, obviously, with his 10-second penalty, is going to finish just ahead of Peaceful at the moment. But obviously, we're seeing Andy's lost out to G and Phil. Gary, that car looks planted. Now, how are everybody else's tyres? This is the question. On lap 15, Sutty is, so he's not pitted again. 1 minute 50s on his wet tyres. How are their tyres lasting? You look at the circuit, looks a bit greasy, but there is a dry line. Yes,
indeed, and Gary making a great job of avoiding all those puddles of standing water and whatever. There is a dry line, as you can see. It's formed quite nicely, and Gary's making advantage of it, and by far the quickest man on track, but a minute off the lead, so it's unlikely he's going to win this one.
He's got to pray that everybody else start to burn their tyres up and pit again, hasn't he? He's really got to pray for that. He's 5.6 off the back of D Biggs, who's pitted for dry tyres. Fury, that's Fury. Who gets off on the AstroTurf, has a spin, doesn't go back on track. That will be D Biggs just there, 6 seconds up the road, just in front of Gary then. Or is that his brother Little Eats? That'll be interesting to see. Can't see the colour of the car because it's not there now. It is D Biggs. No, it is D Biggs. With Little Eats just in front of D Biggs. No one else yet pitted. Gary's 45.3 now. Phil's even in the 49s. I know Emo Guy did a 49 on the wets. Phil's now in the 49s as well. Phil could catch G here for me. What, 8 seconds? If G's on the wets and Phil's on the dries, Phil could easily catch G here with plenty of time left.
Absolutely, yeah. There's still. I mean, I don't think we're going to have any more major upsets.
Look at them all. Look at them all pulling to the right-hand side. G is pretty much on the pit wall to keep cool his tyres down. That is incredible.
This is one of these races, Matt, where we could do with another 10 laps. Do you know what I mean? It's, you know, there's the odd race that you watch and you think it all starts to hot up towards the end. And, you know, another 10 laps, what could Gary do with another 10 laps? You know?
Oh, he'd win it. For me, I think he'd win it.
Absolutely. But everyone else would swap to dries as well. So you know, it's just one of those races. You don't want it to end, really, do you?
No, you don't. Lap 16 of 17. It's going to be interesting to see if how much Sutty's tyres hold out. He's got enough of a gap to Mazda. Can Sutty take his first win of the season? What a job that would be for him as well. Here he is, look, on board Sutty Apex. who's doing a fantastic job at the minute of just keeping it going, keeping it on
all
the track.
together.
Phil
Yeah.
down in the 47s now. He's now within about 6 seconds of the only G, 7 seconds of the only G. So we'll keep an eye on that time coming down between Phil and the only G then. That Mercedes-Benz could be burning through. We know it's a bit poor on tyres as it is. That could be burning through them wet tyres. I'm surprised we've not seen G in the pits. Bearing in mind he's 10th, not a lot to lose from that position. I'm surprised we've not seen him in. But this is testament to G and his abilities, keeping that car going.
Absolutely.
1 minute 50s. You know, D Biggs and Gary both in the 146s last lap. Phil in the 47s. Emo guy on the wets in the 49s. Testament to these guys still on the wet tyres who are still going here. There is G just in front of this little battle.
Yes, indeed. I was just thinking, wondering what Ian's mindset is right at the moment. He's within a second of with Mazda, but Mazda's not scoring points here. Mazda's a guest tonight.
Yeah.
So emo guy Ian is really in net second.
He's not going to catch Sooty, is he? 8.5 from the finish.
He's not going to catch Sooty. We've got a lap to go. Sooty's on the last lap. Although Mazda going to try to keep his tyres cool. There's no water left over there. I'm just thinking of Ian's mindset. Why put a move on Mazda? Why jeopardise spinning it round? He's got a huge gap back to...
He's got 14 seconds back to Keegs and Big Boy Brazier. He's not going to lose out to Keegs because Keegs has got the 10-second penalty.
But I'm just wondering, you know, do you bother? Do you just follow Mazda round? We're about to find out.
Mazda's gone very defensive, and Emo guy was not going to let up there, although he's stuck to his guns here. Mazda's a bit of a nudge up the rear, a bit of a kiss up the rear, pushing Mazda a bit wide there. A bit naughty from Emo guy, to be honest. Bit of a tap up the rear, that one. Mazda gives him a bit of a flash. I saw the rear lights come on there.
All a bit of a Matt Neal, wasn't it? I haven't done any of them tonight either. Not one single one.
You've had to just get one little dig in there, right? Yeah.
I was very quickly before City comes across the line. I was practicing LMP2 because we talked about the one of the events you're going to put on. So I went out and tried an LMP2 car around Le Mans, and I had choices, and I went, oh, Honda. Oh no, I'm not driving that. I'm not driving a Honda. No way. Get the Nissan.
Get in the Honda so we can see you in the Honda. Keegs is struggling at the moment. He's just lost that peaceful explosion. He now could finish behind his dad, who's currently P7 at this moment in time. But this man, what a stellar drive for him. It's been a heck of a race. Got his head down, got a great pit stop for the wet tyres. Stayed on the wets till the end of this one then. And Sooty Apex flashing his lights is going to take a race win. What a job for this man. Fantastic pit stop. G is going to cross the line, P10 a lap down, so not the race the only G would have wanted there. Emo guy's going to take a great second place. Was the poleman, had pace. Mazda takes third, obviously isn't going to score points for P3, so good job for Mazda though in the end either way. Big Boy Brazier managed to get himself what will be effectively P3. Fantastic drive, isn't it?
Not too bad from the back of the grid. Jamie's had pace all the way around. When it was raining, he was at his best. Good drive from Jamie Brazier. Good meeting from him, really. Good points all the way across.
It is as
peaceful.
Well.
What are these two doing?
Peaceful
look at that.
Keegs.
Great fun.
Brilliant. Peaceful and Keegs, and Peaceful will come home P4 in the points. Keegs will get a P5 for his points as well, so that's not a bad night for Keegs in the points. 2 fifth places for him. D Biggs going to cross the line, what will be effectively P6. He's got Welchie at the very end, so D Biggs will claim 6th place points. Welchie will get 7th place points, so not bad for him. D Biggs, another good haul of points there. Gary, the man who went slicks very quickly, a 45.4 last lap. What a lap for him. Coming home to take a P8. It's a good point scored for him. The only G's finished. He scored.
Day for the G. I don't think this car in his setup suited that Merc whatsoever tonight. I think he was driving with both hands tied behind his back tonight.
I think you're right. I think it was the conditions as well. I don't think maybe suited the Mercedes over the Porsche and other cars, especially. Fiore just got to race distance to claim 13th spot in terms of the points. Phil crossed the line P11, obviously will get points for 10th. Andy will get points for 11th. Little Leach will get points for 12th. And Fiore obviously then points for 13th place. We lost Deeks and Unorthodox in that one, so they don't score points. Didn't get to lap 13. Just going to look at the fastest lap. A lot of 45s, 45.3 from Gary at the moment. 45 dead from Big Boy Brazier. 44.7 from Emo Guy. So Emo Guy takes the fastest lap of race 2. We're just going to take a very quick break here. We're just going to get Sooty, Emo Guy Master in for a quick word at the end of this one. So I want to speak with Sooty badly about whether he was on the wheel or the pad. So we'll be back in 2 seconds.
I just realized I've built walls a mile high to protect my heart, but now I'm all alone, stuck on the inside. The heart doesn't need a castle, it needs a bridge. Been too scared that I'd unravel. Brick by brick, I built these walls. Now I know that I am strong.
So we're back live then. Thank you for just staying with us momentarily. Obviously, we're just going to try and get a few of these guys in for a quick word at the end. The Sooty Apex has just joined us. Sooty, fantastic race win. But first question I've got to ask you is, please tell me who was on the wheel. That's a no.
Yes.
That's a no.
Obviously not.
Mate, that was a stellar race from you. You got the pit stops done and got to jump on quite a few drivers.
Yeah, it went well. We had a few little moments through the race, but
yeah,
it was
I'm not
alright.
going to say much. I'm not going to say anything about that.
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is the bump after first corner.
Yeah. When you
Sooty,
come out of the pits, I might have got caught out a little bit. I do need to apologise for that one. Give you a little nudge.
you had the
They
pace,
say
mate.
rubbish racing.
You had the pace in that second part of the race, mate. You just drove away from everybody else. They couldn't catch you.
Yeah, I struggled a bit on the wets because I still had my wheel set up, so I was struggling a little bit. I had the downforce too high, so I was struggling to turn in. But
Was you at all tempted to pit for the slicks?
I was getting towards the end because I was really, really overheating the front left. I was having to try and find water everywhere on track. As you might have seen,
Yeah, we did.
once I was right all at the pit, so cool them down.
We
But
did
yeah,
see you struggle at one bit.
I thought I should have started on the soft, to be honest, like last season, if I knew the weather, but I've got a crystal ball.
Well done, mate. Congrats on your race win. We've got Emo Guy with us as well. Ian, you had such good pace in that last race. Qualified on pole. Obviously, a turn one tap, as it seems. Cost you a few places, but you had the pace in that one.
Yeah, I knew there was a reason why I wanted to do my double points this week. Overall, motor racing, I had pretty much the same result in the second race, except for I got the win. But I was just loving every second of it. Started in pole, as you say, got a good few laps round until the rain started coming down. Once the spray started coming up from the back of the car, I knew I had to go in. And from there, it was all about catching back up.
Yeah, you did have some great pace. Fastest lap and a P2, like you say, you took your double points. Good points for you tonight as well in terms of this championship. Race 1 didn't go according to plan though, did it, mate?
No, there was a few incidents with Gary into the second turn. He tapped my back end and made me spin. And then from there, it just went downhill.
Yeah. Well, best of luck, mate. We hope you have the best of luck next week. Well done to Sooty and Emo Guy and all the drivers who took part tonight. Kelly, any final words from you?
Oh, just a great night's racing, really. Really thoroughly enjoyed that this evening. Where are we next week then, Matt?
We're live next week, Wednesday, 8 PM for the Pro-Am around the Circuit of Americas in Texas, across the pond, to take on that one for our second night race of the season. So what a track that should be. What a race that should be on both nights. Join us Wednesday night for the Pro-Am and Thursday night for the Pro. Guys, thanks for liking. Hit them likes, get up to 20 likes before the end of this video. From all of us here at Simplay Motorsport, thanks for tuning in tonight. Well done to all the drivers. Kelly, thanks once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Good night, guys.
And we'll see you all next week. Take care in these tricky times at the moment. From all of us at Simplay. Good night.
Good night.
just calling to say I